Hey guys, I'm Allison.
And I'm Rebecca.
Welcome to our channel.
We are doing something really special today because ULS is starting to release the phonics courses.
Woo! Yay!
So we all keep hearing about science of reading. We've got all of these little science of reading training tags that are popping up on our accounts. And so Alice and I were like, well, we usually get like the math people.
Yeah.
But let's take a look at this.
Yeah. So, in order to access these courses, you're going to go up to your hamburger button, come into the Unique Learning System courses, and they're going to be right here. This is Foundational Phonics 1. There will be more courses coming, but right now this is the only one up, but keep your eyes open because there will be more.
Right, I think by December, all 9 of them are supposed to be uploaded and available for your implementation.
Yeah.
So we keep hearing science of reading, science of reading. We know that there's more than just phonics and science of reading, but what's really great about ULS is it incorporates so much of the other parts and components of science of reading. Your comprehension, your fluency, your vocabulary, all of those other parts really are embedded in the ULS lesson. So we're today going to show you how it all kind of fits together because, surprise, it doesn't necessarily fit.
Yeah, and that was one of the first questions I had for you. An experienced in the classroom ULS user is, this doesn't necessarily replace anything in my lesson plan.
Yes.
This is there to enhance
Absolutely.
what's already there. So keep that in mind. You're going to be trying to use them both together, and we're going to give you some ideas and some direction on how we would do it if we were in the classroom.
Right, and so if we just look at like some of the activities that we have, so some of it is just the introduction. We see the little man here making the letter M sound. That's a really good activity for a whole group lesson. But like, oh my gosh, if we think about our whole group opening for ULS, we're previewing vocabulary, we're reading the story. Sometimes we're also doing some comprehension. And I'm gonna also ask my kids to sit and do letter M sounds together at that same sitting. Like that's a long period of time.
Or possibly, maybe some of my kids still need this level of support for letter M, but maybe some of my students don't.
Right.
So this is a great way to differentiate for those students who maybe need a little more of that phonics instruction.
And so that direct instruction part, I thought, where's a place that we can also kind of sink it in, bake it into our instruction, so we're not having to say, oh, here's our 15-minute phonics segment, but I also want you to do the work in the stations, and I haven't taught you that yet. So, morning meeting. I love a good morning meeting, Allison, I know you do too.
Yes.
And morning meeting is a great place to embed some of those basic skills that maybe not all of our students need, but it's a great place to just preview, review some of those more foundational skills that we can build on during our actual instructional part. And so what about if we just added into our morning meeting, whatever, you know, if you use slides, if you use a different file, if you use something tactile, if we just had a letter of the week portion of morning meeting and we made letter M one week, we do A, another week T, all of those until we've cycled through at least all 26 of them, and then we can revisit the ones that maybe we're still struggling with making, producing, and learning how to do those sounds. And so doing maybe some of that more direct instruction, let's practice the sounds, let's do some of the come to the board, find the things that start with the letter M in morning meeting, and then we can show you some of the other activities that you can do maybe within a center.
I love it. So let's get started.
Let's go. All right, so we are going to break into our first area, which is the whole group segment. So for the whole group segment, we're going to start with doing the introducing the vocabulary, and then we're going to read our story, Splash into the Ocean. So we have 2 different choices that you could do, either one or the other. Maybe you do one day, maybe you do one another day for introducing the vocabulary. So we have just our actual vocabulary words and the definitions. Both sides are symbol supported, so you can't really lose one or the other. Like I know that's beach, and the symbol corresponds with the definition of beach. So we're gonna read through the words, and then we're also gonna read through the definitions. I'm giving each student a chance to be able to read. What's that word?
Beach.
Beach, and beach is a landform next to a lake or ocean covered by small rocks or sands. So we're gonna match that. We're also gonna revisit that in a station, so I'm also kind of previewing that work expectation. So we can do that for all of the vocabulary words we need. We can also say we've done that another day during we're reviewing the vocabulary. I love these pages in the ULS kit where you actually are matching the pictures to the words. So we're gonna go through, we've kind of learned about coral reef. Oh, Jenny, which one is a coral reef? Good job, Jenny, you matched coral reef. Help me glue it down. Perfect, you did a great job gluing that down. And then we take all of those pages, staple them together, and now we have a real quick flip book to be able to preview all of those vocabulary words. And it's a great activity to introduce and then continue to review for the rest of the month as we're revisiting these vocabulary words. So we've made our little vocabulary word book, and then we can review it as we are previewing our vocabulary before we actually read our story. Then, after we've previewed our vocabulary, we're actually gonna go into reading the story. Okay, so we have previewed our vocabulary words, and now we're gonna move into actually reading our story. So notice, every single one of my students has a text in front of them in addition to what's on the board. Some students are able to do it through their student accounts where they can manipulate it on the screen. Others need a little bit more tactile support, and so they have the actual physical book printed out. So we're all gonna read it together, splash into the ocean. So I'll read those first two sentences. And then you read the next one. I love how Megan turned the page. Great job turning the page, guys. Ready? Splash. Darren dives into the water. Read with me. He sees living things. And so we're all reading it together. We all have our text with us to be able to access the materials at our desks. And it's not just an on the board activity. To our station rotations, so that we can look at some of the different activities that we're going to be doing with the unit as well as with the Science of Reading course. All right, so there's 1.5 million ways that you can do stations and center rotations in your classroom. There's no wrong way to do them because you're essentially just breaking your class up into smaller portions so that they're a little bit more manageable, to be able to manage behaviors, to be able to get the depth and breadth of the instruction that you need. Here's a really quick, simple way that actually Megan has helped develop that is so straightforward. It takes about 5 minutes to be able to prep, and you can be running stations that same day. So we have our spots on the outside, we have spots on the inside. It's just a folded up laminated piece of construction paper, right? And so the outside is where you check in. The inside tells you where you're going next. So my friends here at the orange station have already checked into orange from where they were before. And then when the timer goes off, they know, open it up, they're going to blue. They'll pull off blue and they'll walk over to their next station and check in. It's a really great system that once you explicitly teach it, your students can be able to do it independently. So let's take a look at what each of our groups are doing at their stations, either together or independently, and see what they're doing and how we kind of organized and married the Science of Reading course material with the ULS stations as well. So our first group is taking the phonics that comes with the ULS unit, and this is from Unit 30. And so they have their choices here and they're taking turns finding what word they need to have the beginning sound that matches with their card. So Jenny's working on you. She's gonna look, oh, Jenny, here's two choices. You, do I hear up with you or can?
Up.
Up, perfect. And she's gonna glue it down. And then Megan, you have, what's that letter?
C.
C like car. Do we have can or under? Can. And so I might be giving different kinds of prompts depending on the level of prompting that they need, but they're gonna continue to take turns. There are a bunch of different letters that they can work through. You can glue it down. Maybe your choice is to laminate and have it a Velcro, so it's a little bit of a more permanent station, but whatever works for you and your class. So we're gonna check in with our timer. 1 second left. There's our timer. We know that it's now time to rotate. So they're gonna pull out the inside and they're gonna rotate to the next station. All right, so at green station, we have a couple of choices that Duran's gonna get to make. And so we love being able to incorporate choices into our stations, but also backup because we never want our timer to still have 5 minutes left and then there's not enough material for them to be working on. So Duran has two choices. He can either take the vocabulary and the definitions from our opening where we previewed them, and he's gonna play a matching game with those, where he's gonna maybe turn one over, look and read that definition. Oh, do those match?
No.
No! So he can play that kind of a matching game with the vocabulary and the definition, or he can play the matching game where he's looking at our letter of the week, M, that goes back to our phonics courses, and do a matching game with the letter of the week. So Duran, your choice, which one do you want to do? All right, perfect. You get yourself set up. And then let's take a look at what they're doing over at this station. I love how they already came in and got started. So along with the courses, there are actual texts that go with it. I love these because it's a graphic novel. I went ahead and I printed it out and I stapled it together. It became a book really easily. And so Megan can continue to work on that letter M sound, both at the beginning and the end by reading. And she can either read to Jenny, she can read independently to herself. And then in addition to that letter M book, the News to You library also has letter books. So if I can borrow this for just a second, these letter books are awesome also. So she can just read it as a book, or she can go back in and practice that writing of that letter M as well, if that's what she chooses to do for that one. So let's check our timer. Time to rotate. So again, they're just going to look inside and that tells them where they're going to next. And so this is a station that actually the teacher might be working at or the paraprofessional might be working at. And so I'm going to help and assist this group. Megan's gonna practice her handwriting with that letter M. This is from, again, the Science of Reading courses that go along with that letter M. And then this is a really great connected text that has the beginning letter M sound and the ending letter M sound. I just went ahead and printed it out as a little bit of just an assessment that I can do with Jenny to make sure she's really making that letter M sound correctly. So Jenny's gonna read to me, Sam can eat. Great job making that M sound. And Sam, I love that. Jenny, you did a wonderful job. So she's gonna continue to work on that, reading it with me, while Megan is able to independently practice her handwriting with that letter M, both capital and lowercase. And then Duran is over there and he is continuing the work that we were doing at our other station with maybe some other letters. Maybe he has his own version that he's working on. So everyone has rotated through either ULS course material or phonics course material. And we're all reading, working. We have a system to be able to know exactly where we're supposed to go every single time. And so we are ensuring that we are maximizing our instructional time every single day our students are in our classes.
All right, Rebecca, that was amazing.
Thank
As
you.
always, it's great to watch you work and really provide us with some great ideas that we can take into our own classrooms.
Well, thank you. And I just really love the idea of those centers and how easy and seamless is that center rotation process. And I mean, even like I've been in classes before and seen that done, and like there is no inside piece of cardboard. So let me just go grab an orange piece of paper. Here's your station, go.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's a really great system. And truly, whatever system you have will work as long as you're teaching your kids.
Yeah. And don't be fooled if we call it centers, because centers does sometimes sound a little primary, elementary. If you're middle school, if you're high school, station teaching is also really valuable.
Group time, our group work, peer time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we hope that you can use any of these great ideas in your classroom,
Or all of them.
or all of them? If you do, what should they do?
Like and subscribe.
And hashtag CobbSped.
Let us know how it's going for you in your classes.
Yes, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.